Okay, so I'll actually read this to you. This is from the Mercury News, all right? So first off, they have 5 guys coming up on free agency contracts. The highlight of that, okay, or the biggest player I would say is Chase Young, okay? Sam Darnold's a backup quarterback. Tyshawn Gibson, he was a safety. Javon Kinlaw, one of their D tackles, and Juwan Jennings. Now, the reason that I bring that up is because of their cap situation. So, top 10 salary cap players on the 49ers. Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel, Arik Armstead, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Charvarius Ward, Javon Hargrave, Nick Bosa, Christian McCaffrey, and Ayuk are projected to have a combined cap hit of roughly $210 million for next season. The salary cap is projected to land between 240 and 245. So basically what they're looking at is without like a major move or some type of restructuring or something with one of those contracts, you're extending, you restructure, however you do it, they have almost no money to make like significant offseason moves, build out their roster and depth. So I guess if I was talking to you, you're looking at the 49ers right now, what would be kind of be like your plan or survey? What's your biggest point of emphasis with their offseason?
So listen, right? Like to go down that list, Travarius Ward, I think you can get rid of, right?
Sure.
Is he worth the money?
It's
that
a
you're
safety,
paying
right?
him? No, cornerback.
Cornerback,
right? Number 7, right?
Yeah.
So I think you could.
And their
replace
secondary
him.
wasn't the strength of their defense either.
Exactly.
So.
That's my point,
Yep,
right?
yep.
The secondary is not your strength. And you're paying this guy, big money. Look at what the Kansas City Chiefs did, right?
Sure.
They went out, drafted a rookie, and he's doing well and started from day one. So I think that position could be replaced. And again, it's about trade value, right? So he's not bad. He's not a scrub. You're getting rid of him simply
You
because
get like a 5th or 6th round or something, like just some
I
extra
would
depth.
hope a third. I would hope you get a 3rd round for him. He's a starting.
It depends on his
cornerback.
age.
I still think he's under 30. Right?
Okay.
I don't think he's 30 yet. So that's why I say he's a tradable asset, and most people in the NFL are looking for cornerbacks.
Sure.
Right. So that's going to be a good solid piece. Right.
Even if it's a depth piece, they're looking for them.
Right. So the big move, I think you restructure Trent Williams. You can't do anything with Nick Bosa's contract because he just signed it.
Yeah. And Trent has said he wants to stay in San Francisco 49ers. He's getting older, so I think he'll be amicable to a restructure.
I think the big move that you make is that you trade Deebo Samuels.
Trade Deebo Samuel. Wow. They just extended him, though. So what does he have right now? 3 or 2 more years on his deal?
I'm not 100% sure, but I do think he's in the midst of 3 remaining years, right? Because I think they signed him to a 5-year deal 2 years ago.
That's what I thought,
right?
too, yeah.
But listen, at the end of the day, he's been injured several times. He was injured in the Super Bowl. Now, much respect to him. He's a tough guy. I'm sure he took a quick little shot and then got back out there and forgot about his hamstring. But remember, Deebo,
he was banged up,
games,
especially towards the latter part. Yes,
right. He was banged up at the end. He was hurt in the middle, and so his reliability, right, for the cost that you're paying him is what I look at, right. And so, but here's the thing: people want Deebo Samuels, right? So like, you can't trade the person you don't want. You have to give away some value. You need Trent Williams. You can live without Deebo. And then push comes to shove, if it's Deebo or Ayuk, what are you going to do? I say keep Ayuk, right? And so Ayuk is a more pure receiver, so I think that's a much better option. But you have to create some cap space. And I think Deebo now, you can probably get at least a 2nd-round pick for Deebo Samuels, right? Okay. If not a combination. I don't think you're going to get a first for him because of those injury issues. But his attitude and his workload, and that's the thing. He's had such a huge workload. Bill Belichick, you got to get rid of him 1 year too soon rather than 1 year too late. And so this is the opportunity I think you could do. The big move to make is to get rid of Deebo. Okay.
So interesting that you say that. So I don't know if I would go to get rid of Deebo. I've already heard that they're going to talk about Arik Armstead restructuring his deal. I think Arik Armstead is 28 or 29. So it's like, what's kind of important to him right now? Is it more like making or cashing at a big bank, or is it continuing to play on a contender? If it's continuing to play on a contender, I think they'll probably work out something with him as well as Trent Williams. Charvarius Ward, I think they either let walk or they probably just try to they can't let him walk because he technically has multiple years on the deal. So maybe they try to trade him, like you said, whatever they can get draft capital. Javon Hargrave would be another one. I don't know what his years come down to, but
they just brought him in, and I think they signed him to a 4-year deal. So he's got
the years too as well.
He's stuck there. So I think either you restructure Armstead or you trade him, right? I think you have to move off of players, and I think the 49ers needs to get younger, right?
Yeah.
And so
I'd say restructure 3, not to interrupt you, but I would say Trent Williams, Arik Armstead, and I would try Ayuk too. And here's why I'll say Ayuk.
Remember, no. Ayuk's got to get paid. Ayuk hasn't gotten paid yet, unless you're saying restructure Debo.
Okay. Well, no, I'm saying restructure Ayuk because he's at least projected under next year's salary cap. But that could be the final
I see
year.
what you're saying. Give him an
That's what I'm
extension.
saying.
Right?
Either extend
And
so you can
then
take and
defer
push the
some of it
money.
out. I got you.
And if he's not willing to do that, then maybe he's a guy that you possibly look into trading. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm not trying to say that Jawan Jennings is better than Brandon Ayuk, but I don't know if the drop-off within their offense overall, going from Ayuk to Jawan Jennings, would be so much if you still have CMC, you still have Kittle, and you still have a guy like Debo.
Now, but remember this, right?
Jawan Jennings looked pretty good last night.
But remember
Granted,
this,
it's one game,
during the season,
Yes.
Brock Purdy's guy was Ayuk.
Sure.
Ayuk just sent out a tweet.
So it could be
and
the
he was
chemistry
just like,
issue.
hey, don't forget how you got here, right? Now that has multiple meanings.
Help a brother
but
out.
his boy
Sure.
was Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy was looking out for his boy in Ayuk.
Yeah.
Right? That's why Ayuk had the season that he did. Things sort of picked up with Debo towards the end of the year
Yes.
after the 4-game losing streak.
Yep.
So is that connection really there? I think you can afford to lose Debo, re-sign Ayuk, restructure Kittle. I forgot that one. Restructure Kittle because I think Kittle wants to be a 49er for life.
Yeah, I do
Armstead,
too.
if I'm him, go get your bag. I wouldn't restructure nothing. Trade me or
He's
pay me.
probably the easiest one to replace too. While he is an impactful player, he is getting older. You can find impactful D tackles, if nothing else, just to kind of hold
Get younger.
space and hold the point
and
of
you have
attack.
Hargrave to teach a younger guy to go
Yeah.
with him. So I think that
And Hargrave is younger slightly, I think, than Arik,
right
too.
approaching 30.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
they're all 20 or like 29.
So you
30.
keep one of them and then you try to get
Get
young
rid of the
somewhere
other.
else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just signed Hargrave, so you get rid of Armstead. But
Yeah.
you got to make that type of move. But here's the thing with the 49ers, right? Like you think about that game is that the clock is ticking and you're going to have to make some big moves. Now, the nice thing is I don't think you have to make a lot of moves, but I think you do have to make a big moving break up that Avenger duo,
Sure.
right? To figure out like who can I afford to lose because they're no longer worth the contract. Not that they're not still a good player. And here's the nice thing. They were all pros. So someone is going to want a Debo. Heck, you could probably trade Debo to the Carolina Panthers. They'll probably give you a second round pick and a heartbeat
Yeah.
for him, right? So you think about those teams that are out there, you can get a ton of value for Debo. And don't get me wrong, I think you get a ton of value for Ayuk, but I think you want to keep Ayuk because of the relationship with Ayuk and Brock Purdy.
So it's interesting the route that you're going. I'm going to kind of look at it like this. So if I were looking at the San Francisco 49ers right now within this championship run or span that they've had, where they've been in the championship game now 2 times, they've been a championship contender, let's call it, that span. The cornerstones, and you tell me if you disagree with this. I guess I'll throw Purdy in now, but he's more like towards the end because he's shown that he's obviously going to be a part of their winning ways. But are there cornerstones, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, okay, at least right now, as
Yeah,
long as
I
he's
got
still
you.
going to play, yep. George Kittle, Fred Warner,
Yep.
okay, and then throw on Brock Purdy to that. Are those your 5 kind of cornerstone? CMC, I'm sorry, CMC's got to be in there now too, so 6. If I go with those 6, do we more or less
You can replace
agree with
everybody else.
everybody else around them? We could more or less replace. But
agree.
those are the 6 guys. If we're going to continue to go at this championship run, those are the 6 guys we need to build.
But hold on, we got to talk about something. We got to talk about 2 really important things.
Yes.
Right? You just worked CMC like a dog.
Yes,
You don't
true.
think he deserves a little bit of a bigger bag? Or even an extra year or 2 in guaranteed money?
How about you get another back and take it like lighten the load a little bit?
Yo, you just had me 30 touches,
Sure.
160 yards,
He wants
and a
to win,
tutty,
though.
and a tutty.
Yes.
You know what? I need an extra year or 2 on my contract. Little extra guaranteed money. If you're gonna run me this hard, I was the offensive player of the year, 25 plus touchdowns, 21
It'd
on
be
the
2,
ground.
though, I think, because I think he's still got 3 left on the deal.
I don't think
that he
it's 3. I
inherited
think
from
he's down to
Carolina.
2,
Okay.
right? But hey, extend that boy 2 more years. Give him a little extra money. Maybe not at 16 mil, but throw a little extra 20 million
I
guarantee.
think if they don't
out
have
of-
to, though, they're not even going to visit
Listen,
the conversation.
Listen, if I'm CMC, hey, It's time to renegotiate.
Yeah.
If you're gonna work me again, remember the same situation happened with Debo. They worked Debo so hard he started to break down. So he was like, "Give me the bag," and then great, you could run me, I could throw the ball, do whatever you want, but pay me.
Yeah.
Right? CMC, go get paid because we know how they treat running backs in the NFL. So you just had the best season of your entire life and did not win the Super Bowl. Go get paid.
Okay.
Right? Second thing.
Sure.
Right? And I think this is the hot topic. This is the big debate. Right? Brock Purdy is cool and great right now. If you throw that man $50 million,
Get ready for a
is he worth it? Right?
Oh, I was asking this question to Shoney during the break.
But listen, I'll even ask you this, right? You give him a Daniel Jones contract, 4 years, $160 million, right? $40 million a pop. Is he worth that? Right? Now, I'll answer that question. He is worth it.
I was about to say, yes, he's
worth it.
Because if Jones is worth it, then Purdy has to be worth it.
But, of course.
Yeah.
But, here's the but. Is he worth it if you lose Ayuk and Debo? Is he worth it if you lose Debo, Kittle, and Armstead?
All depends on what the return is on some of those. Because some of those, if they were lost, they would be lost through trades.
No,
what's
if
the
you
return?
pay him $40 million, cut. At least, again, you traded Debo, but like an Armstead, you're gonna if they play hardball, you're gonna have to cut. And I'm telling you, you heard it here right now. CMC's about to get paid a little bit more in that bag.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, listen, if they try to increase his, so I guess what I guess I should ask you first is, because then we'll kind of get a plan of what the 49ers need to do. I think the biggest re-signing, the one that's going to be most pressing, Chase Young. Do you re-sign him?
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Listen. You try.
Their defense, while it got better, still not winning.
Much respects to the 49ers.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
Much respect to the 49ers because they were able to pivot off of the Trey Lance huge mistake.
Sure.
You lost 3 first-round picks. The reason why you're in the situation now is that Trey Lance trade.
Yes.
However, you were good enough and found Brock Purdy.
Yep.
So you ended up where you needed to end up.
Yes.
Right. However, it did cost you a lot. Chase Young, I think they traded a second or a third.
I think it was a third.
Right?
I think it was a third.
A third. And so I think you let him walk. And if I'm not mistaken, they could get a compensatory third-round pick back for him.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was something like it was a third that maybe could be a second. But the key is if he walks in free agency, they can get a compensatory pick for him. And so if that's the case, take the third-round pick and let him walk versus what are you going to pay? First of all, how much money do you want to pay your D-line? Nick Bosa's getting $35 million. Armstead is getting $18+ million. You just gave Hargrave $12+ million. You're going to give Chase Young what? 12, 15 million? Not worth it.
Yeah.
You go draft a rookie and let the
yes, and you give it to him. I was saying yes.
And you go get the vets to teach the rookie how to be an NFL player. And you got to get younger. The Kansas City Chiefs have shown us the model, right? The Bills follow that model.
Yeah, like if you can keep at least 2 out of those 4 D linemen, starting with Bosa, and then either Hargrave or Armstead, obviously if you keep both, that's great. And then you just have to replace one other piece to go with them. That player is going to be getting mentored by three great players. You know?
Greenlaw's hurt, but you're going to lose Greenlaw, right? You still have Fred Warner.
He's got the Achilles injury now. Greenlaw, that might have lucked out for the 49ers,
right? Because he
might
might
get him on the cheap.
Yeah. However, you go get a younger linebacker, right? And listen, you don't tell him, but that younger linebacker is to replace, Fred Warner.
Yes.
Right? But learn from Fred Warner and then you replace him, period. Yeah. Right? So, listen, I think they have to get younger, right? They have to manage the cap, and they only have
especially at the line.
They only have 24 months, and then you got to make a decision on Brock Purdy.